All right, everybody, we got some breaking news. Palantir is at the Davos Summit today. This is a international climate change conference. They went there, I believe, in the past couple of years, and they just released a new press release. Here we go. Let's pull it up right now. They've announced a new partnership with Trafigura, which I don't know who they are. But Palantir and Trafigura aim to track carbon emissions for the oil, metals industry. So here's the press release. Instead of reading it, they just came out with a video. So I'm like, let's watch the video and let's talk about it. Let's quickly Google what Trafigura is. I believe they're a company in the supply chain space around metals, one of the world's leading commodity trading and logistic houses. Okay, so they are launching a partnership with Palantir. Let's get into this. This is very interesting. I really love the partnerships because you get to learn how they're actually working with other companies, and let's see what they're talking about.
At Trafigura, our customers rely on us every day to distill complex supply chains into simple, transparent solutions. Traditionally, this has focused on physical risks, such as delivery, timing, and specification. However, as the world prepares for net zero, our customers are increasingly asking for our help in managing environmental and regulatory risks, namely as it relates to understanding of carbon emissions related to their supply chains. These new challenges require innovative solutions, and is why we're pleased to announce our collaboration with Palantir and launching a global carbon data consortium platform for supply chain emissions, visibility, and reporting, combining Trafigura's expertise in global commodity supply chains with Palantir's best-in-class technology.
So Palantir is launching a platform with Trafigura in which they are going to use data to be able to tackle how carbon emissions are being released. So the way I kind of understand this, my raw thoughts are, let's say you're making a water bottle. There's a lot of raw materials that go into making that water bottle. In order to make that water bottle effectively, you've got to use different materials from all across the world. And there's different supply chain carbon dioxide emissions that are released as a result of getting the handle from here and the bottle cap from here and the plastic from here to make that water bottle. So that one water bottle, even though it costs $4, might have a ton of carbon emissions released from it. And the tracking of that with data at scale in a meaningful way is the only way we're going to be able to reduce those inefficiencies in the market that lead to that carbon dioxide.
To provide additional services to our customers and to the market. Here's how it works.
Okay, let's see if I was right. Basically, I just described what I thought it would be, but here's how it's going to say.
Enables any consortium partner to rapidly bring data across their entire value chain into the system, modeled the same way they run their business. Participants can leverage that data foundation and pre-configured applications, collaborate and share relevant information in a secure way, and most importantly, use those applications and integrated data asset to make informed decisions at speed.
Wow.
The backbone of the application layer of the consortium is the ability to model, simulate, and act on carbon pathways. This work began with the crude market and involved mapping various decision points across the value chain, from sourcing crude to shipping to refineries, to refining activity, and finally, the shipment of refined products to end customers.
So they are talking about supply chains and ultimately the data that is associated with all the different supply chains that are going from place to place to end up connecting and seeing a holistic picture of your carbon emissions and of your logistics in general.
Foundry enables rapid scaling and iteration on these simulations, moving from 50,000 pathways to 7 million pathways in weeks, a number that will continue to grow exponentially as more data is added from ecosystem partners, customers, and data providers. These pathways are not just visualization and presentation layers. Users have the ability to look at the carbon intensity associated with any given pathway and can explore alternative options.
So yeah, it's not just your logistics and supply chain, it's the carbon emissions associated with all the things you're importing or exporting, and then be able to make business intelligence decisions based upon having that data in one place. So this is very interesting, and I'm thinking of the use cases already in my head for what this could be for the broader industry. It makes sense they're releasing this press release during Davos, which is the International Climate Change Summit.
But the real power comes from the ability to create or simulate new pathways with live emission KPIs.
Right there. The ability to simulate new pathways. That's the value. This value of the platform is not just seeing your data. It's like, hey, how can we use AI and machine learning to figure out how to reduce carbon emissions by creating new pathways? Meaning you take all this data, you press a button, and then boom, this thing's like, hey, instead of going from here to here to here and releasing 50 ppm of carbon dioxide, I think parts per million or whatever, let's go from here and reduce it to 43, and you save set. And it's like, So if that can actually happen and companies can find value in the efficiency and the specificity of pressing that button and getting something that can get you a better KPI, which is a key performance indicator for reducing carbon emissions, then that's kind of cool. I mean, that's kind of big. I don't know how many other companies do that and how many companies can do that with the accuracy that this program, this partnership potentially can do.
For example, if I'm exploring how to decarbonize my current pathway, I can build scenarios in which I take into consideration a range of criteria. For example, distance, emissions, and life supply and demand. Over time, with machine learning models and the expanding pathway repository, Foundry will enable users to learn from past decisions and operations, use that knowledge and understanding to incorporate into real-time decisions, and hit emission targets even faster. With enhanced visibility across their supply chains and carbon pathways, ESG teams, carbon analysts, and other operational users can all utilize the same platform to drive meaningful change through day-to-day operations.
Good technology can make things that you have to do faster. Great technology can enable you to do things you couldn't do before. Good technology can make the world simpler. Great technology can embrace the complexity of the world and enable you to solve hard problems. What I'm most excited about our collaboration with Trafigura is deploying our technology into a space that is ambitious, complex, and complicated, that requires operational levels of granular detail to solve strategic, decade-long problems, both for customers and for the world.
Wow, that is cool, man. And again, when you see stuff like this is why I invested in Palantir. This is cool stuff. So let's go to the press release real quick, and then I'm going to give my thoughts. We pretty much got everything from it. Let's hear from them. The companies are building a platform for oil majors and other commodities firms to vet the environmental impact of their supply chains, applying Trafigura's data to Palantir's operating system. So Trafigura is kind of that data house that knows how companies are releasing carbon emissions because of their ability, probably in proprietary methods, to track that type of data. The question becomes, how do you make sense of that data? And that's where Palantir Foundry comes in. Now, why is this so vital and why is this so important and why is this so cool? I'll say that in a second, but let's read this. The firm, co-founded by billionaire entrepreneur Peter Thiel, to aiding BP is among its fossil fuel extracting customers, which have pledged a green makeover in the coming decades, which makes sense because BP is decarbonizing as well, because that's how they're going to survive. The idea grew out of a pilot last year. Trafigura's global head of carbon trading approached Palantir with a desire to better assess indirect carbon footprints known as Scope 3 emissions. The reason this is so interesting is because I said these back in November when I was getting into Palantir, or like making content around it, which is that I think their platform and their software can be used in a variety of use cases. And this is just another example. Now, we haven't had one of these partnership announcements in a couple of months, so I'm really happy we've had one of these. Hyundai Heavy Industries back in January 2022 was like the last kind of partnership type of thing that we got, where they're actually creating a platform with another company. The beautiful thing about platform approach to business models, and then we'll get back into the press release, is that once you make the platform, you can leverage the platform in a variety of different ways. So when you make the platform and you're able to open source that platform to the entire world, and that world pays you a little bit of a fee to use that platform, there are a myriad of exponential ways in which the platform can scale, the platform can grow, and the platform can offer actual use cases to a host of different suitors, different individuals, different companies that would use that platform. So Palantir made a shipyard manufacturing and logistics and supply chain operating system with the Hyundai Heavy Industries, which is like which is the biggest company in South Korea when it comes to shipyard manufacturing. I think it might be the biggest in the world. And they're going to be able to leverage that platform to a lot of other companies that create ships and have to dispose of ships, because there's a lot of logistics and supply chains associated with that. Well, every company is trying to decarbonize. And if every company is trying to decarbonize, they need to know the impact of their supply chain in the context of carbon dioxide and carbon emissions, but not just know the impact, they need to know how to decarbonize, how to reduce it. And if you could press a button, because this platform is so integrated and it only gets better and better and better with the more data it gets, there's a really good chance that this could be used in a lot of different ways. Chief Executive Alex Karp said this is going to be one of the biggest things we've ever done. Wow. Jeremy Weir, Trafigura CEO, says the market is massive in terms of size. I think it touches everybody. And that's exactly what I think I just said, right? It touches everybody. Making the trial into a joint marketing partnership represents a familiar playbook for Palantir, the company which recently allocated from Palo Alto, partnered with Airbus. That is very true. That was another one of their partnerships back in 2017, to sell a central operating system for the airline industry, according to Palantir's latest annual report. You'll have to use your imagination to figure out how those things may be in use, but we play a crucial role in the security of the West. This is when they were asked around a special operation in Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Interesting stuff. I think it's a phenomenal partnership. Again, this is the stuff that makes me excited to bet on this company. I know the stock price is not going to reflect it right now, and I know it's annoying because the market's not going to react to this. But this is the stuff, if you're really investing over the next 5 to 10 years, you want these things, these foundational elements of what Palantir can do and how they can scale. Snowflake's not doing this. Databricks is not doing this right now. There's a lot of other things that they can do better than Palantir. I understand that, but they're not doing this. And this is why I invested. This is why I'm like, all right, I'm down a lot of money. I sleep well at night, knowing that if they can execute this, there's still a risk, but if they can build this stuff, if any company could build it, I would bet on Palantir, given a lot of different reasons that I've covered on the channel. If they can do this, this can be a game changer. And for all the people that are like, oh, this is just a hype stock, it's like, do the actual research and look into what the company's doing. Read this stuff. Watch these videos. Understand how they're thinking about these stuff. Look at the modules in which they're presenting the use cases for this software. And then you can keep saying it's a hype stock or not. Yes, there may be hype around the stock. There is not hype around the company because the company is doing stuff that the stock price doesn't reflect. Valuations aren't reflecting that right now. Growth stocks are getting hit. I get it. But this type of stuff is the type of innovation that I'm betting on. This type of stuff that I actually see potentially changing the world, and the stuff that I believe could actually make it one of the most meaningful software companies in the world. So I think this is phenomenal news. I'll be covering it on dailypalantir.com. Definitely check it out. Let me know anything you think I missed. Let me know if you don't think this is that crazy. Let me know if this is not that big of a deal. Please leave it in the comments. I'm open to listening to everyone else's feedback. But it's stuff like this that was coming out left and right November, December 2021, and then January 2022. That was just like, oh my goodness, more and more partnerships. It cooled down a little bit over the past couple months, understandably. But if they're able to ramp up these types of partnerships again and really present this stuff to the world, I just think there's a lot of use cases for Palantir. So thank you guys so much for watching. Looking forward to reading your comments, and I will see you in the next one.